Welcome to another haunting exploration here at Chilling Fireside Stories. Before we begin, I want to remind you that this case involves graphic and disturbing content. If you're sensitive to such material or would prefer to avoid unsettling topics, feel free to skip this story. For everyone else, buckle up because this is a deep dive into one of the most infamous family murders in American history. Now, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on our latest videos. Your support means the world to me and helps me continue to bring you these eerie tales. Let's begin. We begin in the affluent neighborhood of Beverly Hills, California. The Menendez family, Jose, Kitty, Lyle, and Erik, seemed like the perfect American family. Jose Menendez was a successful entertainment executive, while his wife, Kitty, dedicated herself to her family. Lyle and Erik, their two sons, had every advantage life could offer: private schooling, luxury cars, and a sprawling Beverly Hills mansion. However, beneath this idyllic surface, tensions simmered. This story is one of wealth, power, secrets, and ultimately, a heinous crime that shocked the world. The brutal murder of Jose and Kitty Menendez at the hands of their own sons exposed dark truths about the family and led to one of the most sensational trials of the 20th century. But was this a case of cold-blooded murder for financial gain? Or were Lyle and Erik victims of something far more sinister? To truly understand the Menendez case, we need to delve deeper into the family dynamics. Jose Menendez was the patriarch, a self-made man of Cuban descent who moved to the U.S. as a teenager. Known for his ruthless ambition, Jose climbed the corporate ladder, eventually becoming a prominent figure in the entertainment industry. However, this success came at a cost. Jose was known to be controlling, demanding, and emotionally distant. He ruled his family with an iron fist, expecting nothing less than perfection from his wife and sons. Kitty Menendez, on the other hand, struggled with her role as a mother and wife. She had once aspired to be an actress but had given up her dreams to support Jose's career and raise their children. Over the years, Kitty's mental health deteriorated. She battled depression, alcoholism, and addiction to prescription medications. She reportedly felt trapped in her marriage and often took out her frustrations on her sons. Lyle, the older brother, was seen as the golden child. He attended Princeton University and was expected to follow in his father's footsteps. But behind the facade of the successful young man, Lyle struggled with insecurity, fear of failure, and the immense pressure placed upon him by his father. Erik, the younger brother, was more sensitive and introverted. He was a talented tennis player and dreamed of making it to the professional level. However, Erik's relationship with his parents, particularly his father, was fraught with tension. He confided in friends that he felt unloved and emotionally abused. On the night of August 20, 1989, Beverly Hills police received a frantic 911 call from Lyle Menendez. "Someone killed my parents," he screamed into the phone. Officers arrived at the Menendez mansion to find a gruesome scene. Jose and Kitty Menendez had been brutally murdered. Jose was shot in the head, while Kitty's body was riddled with bullet wounds, indicating she had tried to flee her attackers. Initially, police suspected the killings were part of a mob hit or a robbery gone wrong. After all, who could possibly want this affluent couple dead? Lyle and Erik Menendez appeared devastated by the loss of their parents. They gave tearful interviews and attended the funeral in expensive suits, seeming like grieving sons. But over the next few months, their behavior raised suspicions. In the months following their parents' deaths, Lyle and Erik began spending money at an alarming rate. They bought luxury cars, expensive watches, and designer clothes. Lyle invested in a new business venture, while Erik hired a private tennis coach and entered high-profile tournaments. Together, they spent over $700,000 in the 6 months following the murders. Family members and friends found their behavior strange, but it wasn't until Erik confessed to his psychologist, Dr. Jerome Oziel, that the truth came out. Erik, racked with guilt, revealed to Dr. Oziel that he and Lyle had killed their parents. Ozil recorded the confession, and soon after, his mistress tipped off the police. The Menendez brothers were arrested in March 1990, 7 months after the murders. The trial of Lyle and Erik Menendez was nothing short of a media circus. Court TV broadcast the proceedings live, and millions of viewers were captivated by the shocking details that emerged. The defense, led by attorney Leslie Abramson, argued that the brothers had acted in self-defense after years of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse at the hands of their father. Abramson painted a picture of a tyrannical patriarch who ruled his family through fear and violence. The prosecution, however, contended that the Menendez brothers were motivated by greed. They pointed to the brothers' extravagant spending as evidence that they had killed their parents to inherit the family fortune. Prosecutor Pamela Bozanic argued that the abuse claims were a fabrication, a desperate attempt to escape responsibility for their crimes. Several witnesses were called to testify during the trial, offering glimpses into the Menendez family's troubled dynamics. Family members, friends, and even former employees spoke of Jose's controlling nature and Kitty's erratic behavior. Cousin Diane Hernandez testified that Lyle had confided in her about the sexual abuse, claiming their father had molested both him and Erik for years. Tennis coach Mark Heffernan described Erik as a deeply troubled young man who struggled with his emotions. He recalled a conversation where Erik hinted at family issues but never revealed the full extent. A former housekeeper for the Menendez family testified about Kitty's declining mental health, describing her as unstable and prone to violent outbursts toward her children. On the other side, the prosecution called witnesses who cast doubt on the brothers' abuse claims. Dr. Henry Vogel, a psychiatrist, testified that while the Menendez brothers may have experienced emotional turmoil, there was no credible evidence to support their claims of sexual abuse. Former friends of the brothers testified that Lyle and Erik had never mentioned abuse before the trial, raising suspicions about the authenticity of their claims. One of the most dramatic moments of the trial came when both Lyle and Erik took the stand. Their tearful testimonies about the abuse they had suffered were both powerful and controversial. Lyle spoke in detail about the sexual abuse he allegedly endured at the hands of his father, describing how Jose would molest him from a young age. Erik corroborated his brother's claims, describing similar experiences of abuse and detailing how they had lived in constant fear. Their testimonies were emotional and raw, leaving the courtroom stunned. But skeptics questioned the timing of these revelations. Why had the brothers never mentioned the abuse to anyone before the trial? Were their claims a desperate attempt to garner sympathy from the jury? The Menendez trial divided public opinion. Some saw Lyle and Erik as cold-blooded killers who had murdered their parents for financial gain. Others viewed them as victims of a monstrous father and a neglectful mother who had been driven to the breaking point. Media coverage was relentless, with tabloids publishing sensational headlines and talk shows debating the case. The trial became a cultural phenomenon, and the Menendez brothers became household names. Some supporters even formed fan clubs for the brothers, sending them letters of encouragement and gifts while they were in prison. In 1996, after 2 lengthy trials and multiple jury deliberations, Lyle and Erik Menendez were convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The jury rejected their claims of abuse and found that the murders were premeditated. For some, the verdict was a clear victory for justice. But others, including some of the jurors, remained conflicted. They believed the brothers had indeed suffered abuse but felt that the punishment didn't fit the crime. The case sparked a broader conversation about the complexities of family violence, mental health, and the criminal justice system. Since their conviction, Lyle and Erik Menendez have spent their lives in prison. In the years following the trial, both brothers have expressed regret for their actions, stating that they wish they had sought help instead of resorting to violence. Erik has become active in various prison programs, mentoring younger inmates and working with charities that support victims of family abuse. Lyle, who married while in prison, has similarly expressed remorse and has spoken out about the importance of mental health awareness. Decades after the murders, the Menendez case continues to spark debate. Some still believe that Lyle and Erik were victims of unspeakable abuse who acted out of desperation. Others view them as calculating killers who exploited their parents' wealth and power. Psychologists and criminologists have also weighed in on the case, examining the brothers' psychological state and the impact of abuse on their actions. The case has been the subject of numerous documentaries, books, and podcasts, each offering new interpretations of the events that unfolded in 1989. As we conclude this exploration of the Menendez brothers, I leave you with some interesting facts about the Menendez brothers' story. Expensive shopping sprees. After the murder of their parents, Erik and Lyle Menendez spent large sums of money on lavish items. Lyle bought a Porsche, a Rolex, and several luxury suits, while Erik hired a tennis coach and competed internationally. Their spending raised eyebrows and later became a crucial point in the prosecution's argument that they were motivated by greed. The TV show Alibi. On the night of the murders, Lyle and Erik went to see the James Bond movie License to Kill. They also went out for a meal before returning home and calling 911. Their alibi initially held up since they were seen at the movies, which added to the mystery surrounding the murders until more evidence came out. Lyle's hairpiece. During the trial, it was revealed that Lyle Menendez wore a toupee. This seemingly trivial fact became a point of contention in the courtroom, as it was argued that his father, Jose, forced him to wear the hairpiece due to insecurities about his receding hairline. This detail was used to illustrate the alleged control and emotional abuse exerted by Jose. Fan mail in prison. Since their conviction, both Lyle and Erik Menendez have received a significant amount of fan mail, including letters from women who were captivated by the case. Both brothers eventually married women who wrote to them while they were in prison, despite serving life sentences without the possibility of parole. Appearing in pop culture. The Menendez case has appeared in multiple TV shows and films. In fact, they were referenced in Law and Order, True Crime, which focused on their trial, and other shows have made allusions to their story. The case also resurfaced as a key point in the second season of American Crime Story. Same prison, different wards. For years, Lyle and Erik were housed in separate prisons. However, in 2018, after nearly 22 years of separation, the brothers were reunited at the Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility in San Diego, California, but in different housing units. Their reunion was a long-awaited moment for the brothers. The brothers' musical talent. Both Lyle and Erik dabbled in music. Erik was known for his piano skills and passion for composing music. In fact, during his time in prison, he has continued to write music and stay engaged in creative activities. Thank you for staying with me through this in-depth exploration of the Menendez brothers case. If you found this story as gripping and complex as I did, please consider subscribing to my channel for more deep dives into true crime stories. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And if you have any thoughts or theories about this case, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.